So we heard that there is of recent there has been adoption of schoolgirls in Kebbi State, 25 girls, and then the vice principal was killed, and then just a few days later, we heard that of in Niger State, also in the north, west of Nigeria, north west central of Nigeria, and all these are deeply alarming, and this call for concern. Over 200 plus were kidnapped, in the or abducted in Niger State alone, and of course they took teachers and maybe some other workers in the school, and this should be of real concern to Tinubu. Now all this are happening, and Tinubu is still traveling out of the country. Tinubu should declare a state of emergency in those areas, but the truth is, people are saying that all these things are happening because of America's designation as of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, and the fact that these people probably want to bring instability in the country. But before I go into why this should be of concern, look at it first of all. If these people are sponsored and all of that, where do you think the sponsorship is coming from? This thing is predominantly in the north, so it will be from the northern part of Nigeria. So what would they gain if America invades Nigeria, knowing full well that that is the part America will hit? America will not come and bomb Lagos. America will go to Niger, will go to Borno, will go to maybe Kebbi, will go to all those places and bomb the hell out of those places. Yet they are still perpetuating what they are doing. I think what they tend to benefit in the long run is instability. Once there is instability, then there will be rise of various powers. Look at it, for instance, that if America, just like in Libya, for instance, before America came, Gaddafi was reigning supreme. In Iraq, Saddam Hussein was reigning supreme. But the moment all those people came and started to help, of course, with the intention to help the oppressed and all of that, then some warlords begin to rise, get ammunition from some maybe Asian or Middle East countries who are supporting this jihadist terrorism conquest, and then they begin to rise. We now have splinter groups. We now have, just like we have IC West Africa, we have Boko Haram, we have herdsmen attackers, we have bandits and all of that. And then in the end, that place will now be a place where government power will be reduced, and then they will now have their own border, because America can only fight for a time. Later, America will withdraw. If Nigerian soldiers cannot have the power like the way Israel is doing, look at the way Israel invaded Gaza after the September attack last year on the Israel communities. On their own, they are able to contain Gaza perimeter by perimeter. They are taking over. They have equipment. They have well-trained military personnel. Not like in Nigeria, whereby you hear that a military equipment scam. They will buy, those top generals will steal the money. Why was Buhari persecuting Dasuki the other time? Because they said that they stole some money. So in the end, what will just happen is Nigeria does not have the capacity. So if America comes and bomb, the way they spend so much money in Afghanistan, what do you think they will do? They will go, and then by that way, those terrorists would have now become more battle hardened, the way Al Qaeda is now in Afghanistan. And then in the end, if the American soldiers decide to leave after wasting their money to train Nigerian soldiers, because it may not even go anywhere because of indiscipline and sabotage amongst even the military, what do you think will happen? Those guys will now be more battle rugged than people in the south. So in the end, if it is now free for all, make everybody tartan, the south will not be able to withstand those northern terrorists. And remember, those people are not, many of them are not even those Fulani people. They are not Nigerians. They're from Niger, Chad, and all of that, but they have one identity, which is they are Fulani. So in the end, they are infiltrating Nigeria. So they do not care if the place is messed up. Just like virus, when virus enters the system, it just goes there to damage everything. In the end, if the host dies, the virus too dies. But the virus does not care at that particular time it is invading. That's how these people are. They are parasites. They're just going to destroy Nigeria as a country or destroy the North. And then if America can bomb along the line of the division, let the North go, let the South remain, instead of the crazy amalgamation of 1914. And what do you think will happen? Then they'll just be on their own. So now, to go back to my talk of why it should be of concern, number one is that this is a threat to children's security and safety. Now, children who are supposed to be safe, in the end, we now see that they are the ones who are now the victims of all these malicious and murderous attacks by all these people. And then in the end, we know that the way they kill the vice principal, that these people are very violent and unscrupulous people that will not hesitate to do any kind of thing to these children. And in the end, what do you think will happen? There will be sexual exploitation. And then the second reason that we should be concerned is that there's a broader implication for education and gender equality. What is happening now they are going to kidnap girls from school. Will an average parent send a girl child to school again? No. So in the end, guys will continue to go to school, and then the girls will be at home for safety, because nobody wants the female child, to be molested and raped and all of that. Then this gender inequality will increase, and this is what Boko Haram is set out to do. And then if you now look at it again, there's national and regional security implications. This just shows that Nigeria has a weak security infrastructure system. Where people can just easily come in, take these things and go. If you even check that school in Niger State, I looked at it, it's in an isolated terrain, and that place it's not like it's covered with trees and all of that, so it's an open, a large expanse of land. So if Nigeria should have the drones, helicopters, planes, how come they cannot track these people, into the bush? It shows that something is fundamentally wrong with Nigeria, and it has now made schools to become soft targets, because schools are very vulnerable. No policemen, no soldiers to defend the place, and these kidnappings are often carried out by organized, groups, bandits, by militants who operate with relative impunity. These people do not care about anything, and so that is another problem. Another thing again is the humanitarian and social cost. Now, the people that they kidnapped in Kwara, inside that church, about 30 something of them, they're telling them to come and pay, I think 10 million naira each, 100 million naira each. Calculated, that's about 3.4 billion naira. How many parents will be able to have that? So that is the financial cost it will have on them. And it also have social cost, because these incidents can feel like can fuel circles of vengeance, and then reignite vigilante responses, and even reignite tribal and communal clashes, because people may be like, oh, all the Fulanis we have in this our territory, let's begin to go out on them, and none of them are the good people, so it's just that those few elements that come outside of the border and have infiltrated Nigerians, and some Nigerians have now been are now beginning to align with them. They are the ones carrying out this dastard act. And then to me, this is a wake-up call for prevention of this systemic, a wake-up call for prevention and systemic reform. These incidents highlight the urgent need to improve school security and policies. There should be things in place that will ensure that people who are going to school will feel safe, parents will be able to send their children to school, and then to me there's also should be need for accountability. Perpetrators, must be brought to justice, victims must be supported, and these perpetrators, everybody, governor come and say, I know the people that are sponsoring them, I know, everybody keeps saying they know the sponsor. Tinubu, go out there and get them, or is Tinubu part of the sponsors? I don't understand. So in the end, it also emphasized the need for broader social economic and conflict resolution interventions. So they have to tackle the root cause of all this banditry. What's the root cause of all this banditry? Number one, resource conflict between herders and farmers. Another one, poverty. Corruption in governance, nepotism, high-handedness in the Nigerian security forces, where they just go there, they say crime has been committed, and they say that they go out there and wipe almost everybody out, and then these people lose their fathers and mothers, and then in the end they become terrorists themselves. So all of these things have broad implications. And if you look at it now, children are our future, and if things like this continue to happen, then we are killing the future that we claim they have. Then education is also a right. Everybody has a right to go to school. Tinubu should know that, and they should protect schools. And the violence anywhere is witnessed for all. So long as you see them finding people in the Kwara church, kidnapping people in Niger and Kebbi states, it just shows that we are generally weak as a nation. And we should all know that people who are supporting this people should know that by the time they finish the north, they are coming to the south. And when they come to the south, forget, it's not only Christians they will come after. They will come even after the southern Muslims, because to them these Muslims are not even as religious as they should be. So we should all know that, and this just shows that all these things are preventable, and so insurgency is not justified. Yes, it's not justified. So because if all these things are preventable, why are they not preventing it? Why is there still high level of poverty? Why is there corruption? Why are politicians stealing so much money and underdeveloping their regions? And the funny thing is that the North have enjoyed more time in power than any other region, and yet look at how messed up the North is. And now these people are now coming to trouble people who have endured so much. It's a terrible thing. So let me know if you are in the comment section. I remain your boy Ernesto Mozokwe Adebayo Okoje, and I'll continue to say the truth the way I see it. Signing out. Peace.